So you're here because you're committed to your relationship and you're looking to make a great thing even better, right? Especially when it comes to intimacy, to the enjoyment you share with your partner.
Exactly.
Today, we're going to dig into some ideas sourced from material design to help men, well, get more sex, get better sex. But let's be clear.
Yeah, this isn't about manipulation or anything like that. Not at all.
No, we're pulling out the genuine insights, the stuff that can really enrich a committed relationship like yours. We're focusing on how you, as a committed man, can enhance that sexual enjoyment with your female partner.
That's the mission. We've gone through this material to pull out the core principles, the actionable steps you can actually use, things that foster a more fulfilling sex life together.
Right. It's not about quick fixes. It's more about understanding the underlying dynamics, and making positive changes that last.
It's about building something better for both of you.
Okay, so let's jump into the first key dynamic that the source material highlights. It points out something interesting, that even if it feels like you're the one initiating sex,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, it's often your partner who kind of signals the green for go.
Right. That subtle nod, the receptiveness.
Mm-hmm.
It's her saying yes, in a way, even if you brought it up first.
Mm-hmm.
It happens at, like, every level.
From just showing interest right through to the end. Yeah.
It's a really interesting way to look at it, isn't it? It shifts things from just being about male initiation to, well, more of a dance, a mutual thing.
Yeah, like mutual willingness. And if you think about the times you felt really connected, you probably recognize that dynamic playing out.
Even if you weren't consciously thinking about it. And ignoring those signals, those green for go moments, well, that could definitely lead to feeling shut down or rejected.
Which brings us to a really key point. Seduction. It's not a one-time thing you do at the start.
Or absolutely not, especially in long-term thing. It's ongoing. You can't just assume desire will always, be there.
You can't take it for granted. Life happens. Routines set in.
Exactly. So you need to keep making that effort, keep connecting, keep creating that desire. It's essential.
And the course actually says, don't just take everything as gospel truth immediately.
Right. Try things out. See what actually works for your specific relationship. Experiment a bit.
Makes total sense. Every couple is different. And it also acknowledges, look, getting to where you want to be sexually might mean looking honestly at yourself.
Yeah, being willing to maybe adjust some behaviors, maybe even shift your mindset a little.
Recognizing patterns that maybe unintentionally are getting in the way of intimacy.
And being open to trying something new, which is where goal setting comes in, according to the source.
Ah, okay. So not just vague hopes like, I wish we had more sex.
No, much more specific.
Hmm.
Setting positive, clear, achievable goals and giving them a time frame.
Like maybe aiming for more fulfilling sex once a week and
Yeah.
aiming to get there within the next 2 months, something concrete.
Exactly. It gives you something to aim for, a way to see if the changes you're making are actually, working, making a difference.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Now, the material gets into what it calls stop it now principles.
Yeah, basically, these are behaviors that are pretty likely to be undermining things,
Yeah.
getting in the way of a good sex life.
And some might seem, well, obvious on the surface, but it's worth really thinking about them. The first one, quitting pursuit,
Mm-hmm.
which means stopping the unsubtle comments, the constant innuendos, the pestering for sex.
And the why here is really important. The course suggests this kind of constant pressure. It usually backfires. Big time.
Right. Instead of making her feel desired, it often just pushes her away.
Makes her feel like her boundaries aren't respected, maybe creates emotional distance. She might even start avoiding, like, simple physical closeness because she's worried it'll be seen as an invitation.
Makes her feel like the act is more important than her.
Exactly. It's that negative loop, isn't it? You push, she pulls back further.
Yeah. And the advice isn't to become cold or distant.
No, not at all. It's about shifting focus. Focus on yourself, your hobbies, friends, other parts of the relationship. Show you have a life beyond just wanting sex.
Which ironically can sometimes create a different kind of attraction. Make her miss that connection.
That's a really key distinction.
Yeah.
It shows your world isn't just revolving around that one thing. Though the course does add a little note.
Okay.
If she's already initiating frequently, and you're both happy with how often you connect, then maybe this specific start pursuit advice isn't quite as relevant for now.
Gotcha. Okay, next. Stop it now. Managing anger.
Oh, this is a big one. The material is very clear. Anger is like pouring cold water on desire.
Makes sense emotionally, right? If there's tension, resentment, unresolved stuff hanging in the air.
It just kills that feeling of safety, of intimacy. And those feelings are fundamental, especially for women's desire. The Course even points out some observable signs of anger to watch out for in yourself.
Being aware of those patterns. Okay. Building on that safety idea. Avoiding put-downs.
Should be obvious, but yeah. Trust is everything, especially sexually. Putting her down about anything, but especially about sex, or comparing her to past partners.
Devastating. It just shatters trust and intimacy.
Totally. Those remarks chip away at self-esteem, make her feel less desirable, less safe being vulnerable with you, and it specifically warns against dismissing her feelings.
Even if you don't get why she's upset.
Exactly. Validate her experience, don't make light of it.
Okay, then there's ceasing jealousy. The advice is basically, unless you have concrete evidence, let it go.
Yeah. Unfounded jealousy is corrosive. If you are feeling jealous, talk about it, but not in an accusing way.
Talk about your feelings, not her supposed actions.
Right. Because open, non-blaming communication builds trust. Jealousy just breeds insecurity and pushes her away.
Next up, showing respect. Pretty straightforward.
If you're being disrespectful, stop. Work through disagreements respectfully. It's foundational.
Disrespect kills attraction. Simple as that.
Yep. Then, stopping reminders. This links back to quitting the pursuit.
Constantly nagging or teasing about the lack of sex.
Counterproductive. It doesn't create desire, it creates pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And probably resentment.
As the Course says, it's not going to suddenly make her feel amorous.
Not a chance. It just reinforces the negative dynamic.
Okay, addressing body image sensitively. This feels really important for intimacy.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
If she expresses insecurity about her body, any negative comment from you is just awful.
So the advice is positive reinforcement. Tell her what you do find attractive.
Absolutely. Focus on the positive, specific things. Be mindful of any phrase that could hurt, even unintentionally. Offer gentle reassurance if she's being hard on herself, but always with kindness.
And silence isn't golden here. If she's negative about herself and you say nothing,
It can easily sound like you agree, so gentle, positive words are key.
got it. Then not being a control freak.
Controlling behavior anywhere in the relationship builds resentment, and the Course is clear. It will definitely extinguish any thoughts of sex she might have had.
Undermines her autonomy, creates an imbalance, the opposite of what you need for intimacy.
Exactly, and related to that, avoiding punishment.
Never, ever punish her for not wanting sex. Withholding affection, the silent treatment.
That's manipulation, pure and simple. It breeds resentment and kills desire long term. Deeply damaging.
Okay, challenging entitlement. This is a mindset shift.
Yeah, realizing that regular sex isn't automatic. It's not a given, not a right.
It requires effort, communication, mutual desire from both of you.
It moves away from expectation towards shared creation of intimacy, nurturing it together.
The danger of lying seems obvious, but needs saying.
Lying destroys trust, and trust is the bedrock of intimacy. Any deception makes vulnerability, especially sexual vulnerability, incredibly hard.
Creates suspicion, insecurity, kills the mood.
Totally. Which leads perfectly into the concept of emotional safety. This is presented as absolutely core.
The foundation for desire to actually grow.
Exactly. And the Course breaks down what builds it. Being present, really there with her, spending quality time without distractions.
Opening up yourself, sharing your feelings.
Yes. Being vulnerable too. Expressing love and appreciation often. Making her feel genuinely valued.
Words and actions.
Both. And it even mentions big things, like how you'd react to an unplanned pregnancy. A negative reaction there can fracture trust deeply.
Wow, okay. That really highlights the depth of safety needed. Another, stop it now, avoiding spiteful interpretations.
Meaning, don't just jump to the conclusion she's withholding sex to be mean or spiteful.
There are usually other reasons.
Very likely, yes.
Yeah.
The Course suggests if you work on the others, stop it nows, and build that emotional safety, spite becomes much less likely to be the real issue.
Okay, what about practical stuff like chores? The impact of domestic labor?
Ah, yes. The Course suggests reflecting on the division of labor. A big imbalance can contribute to her lack of desire.
Makes sense. If she's exhausted and feels unsupported.
Right. But it also cautions, don't expect doing the dishes once to lead to immediate fireworks.
Right. It's about creating a more supportive environment overall, which can indirectly help intimacy.
Exactly. It reduces her stress, makes things feel more equitable.
Okay, subtle ogling. This is an interesting one.
The advice is basically, be discreet if you're admiring other women when your partner is there.
So it's not about not noticing, but about not making it obvious in a way that makes her feel less seen.
Precisely. Making it overt can stir up insecurity,
Mm-hmm.
not warmth and connection.
Yeah.
Be mindful of her feelings.
Makes sense. Mindful alcohol consumption, worth considering how much you drink.
Yeah, excessive drinking might impact how attractive she finds you, or your behavior when drinking might be off-putting,
Mm-hmm.
or it just interferes with clear communication and connection.
Something to be aware of. Then, balancing togetherness and individuality.
The idea that having your own interests, your own friends, outside the relationship is actually good for it.
Not smothering each other.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Spending all your time together can sometimes, paradoxically, lessen desire.
Hmm.
Having your own things makes you more interesting, brings fresh energy back.
Okay. Prioritizing intimacy over routine, like always choosing the football game on TV over her reaching out.
Exactly that example. It sends a message about what's more important. Makes her feel overlooked, maybe rejected. Not good for desire.
Creating a romantic environment. The actual physical space.
Yep, especially the bedroom. Clean, tidy, inviting. A cluttered, messy room isn't exactly conducive to romance.
Shows you value those moments together. Makes sense. Avoiding off-putting habits.
Basic stuff, really. Poor hygiene, gross habits. They can be a major turnoff. The opposite of what you want.
Right. Keeping promises. Reliability builds trust.
Hugely. Doing what you say you'll do creates dependability, strengthens the bond. Broken promises erode that.
Makes her feel like her needs aren't important. Okay, positive talk. Speaking respectfully about her even when she's not there.
Absolutely. If negative talk gets back to her, it's incredibly damaging to trust. Respect her always.
Good point. Then slowing down sex. Don't just rush to the main event.
Yeah, don't rush to penetration. Take time for foreplay, build arousal, connect. It's an experience, not just an act.
And post-sex affection. Crucial for reinforcing the connection.
Definitely. Cuddle, touch, talk afterwards. Don't just roll over and sleep. Or worse, criticize. Those moments after are prime time for deepening intimacy.
Builds desire for next time. Okay, nearly through the list. Respecting boundaries during menstruation?
Be sensitive.
Yeah.
If she's not comfortable having sex during her period, don't pressure her. Respect her body and feelings.
Show empathy. Open communication about smell. This sounds tricky.
It requires a lot of tact. If there's a concern about vaginal odor, talk about it gently, sensitively. Don't make her feel bad or self-conscious. Focus on potential health or hygiene, not judgment.
Very delicate. Okay, and the last, stop it now, is a big one. Stopping coercion.
A hard stop. Never ever force or pressure her into anything, sexually or otherwise. It's a fundamental violation of trust and consent. Devastating.
Absolutely essential. Okay, so that's a lot of things to stop doing. After covering those, the course moves into mental foreplay.
Yes. The idea that seducing her mind, engaging her emotionally, is critical before physical intimacy.
And it highlights a difference in arousal sometimes. Men often more visual.
Wow. For many women, arousal is more tied to imagination, emotion, feeling connected.
Which brings in oxytocin, right? The love hormone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's linked to emotional connection. For female, arousal and orgasm is really strong. So the course emphasizes a lack of desire might not be her fault.
It could be tied to that biological need for emotional closeness, for feeling safe and connected.
Precisely. So actively building that emotional intimacy, that is a powerful form of mental foreplay. It sets the stage.
Which leads perfectly into communication and listening.
Cornerstone stuff. Open, honest communication about sex is key to a better sex life and a better relationship overall.
And understanding how women often communicate, sometimes just to connect, not necessarily to solve a problem.
Yes. Dismissing that or interrupting is really damaging. Active listening, eye contact, responding, not jumping in, is crucial.
The course lists tons of benefits for good listening, right? Understanding expectations, solving problems.
Showing you care, which it calls a primal need for many women, demonstrating maturity, respect, having deeper conversations, letting her vent. It all feeds into a great relationship.
And practical tips too. Nodding, positive reactions.
Thoughtful answers, summarizing what she said to chair Trevent. The key is, your first job isn't always to fix it. It's to hear it. Understand her experience.
Right. Just listen. Okay, then, connecting with your partner daily, small things matter.
Hugely. Regular talks, showing appreciation, making time even when busy, small gestures like tea in bed.
Cuddling without expecting sex, listening, non-sexual touch.
All of it. These daily connections build that ongoing intimacy. The course even suggests observing how women connect with each other sometimes.
Interesting. Like friends or family, see what fosters closeness.
Yeah, it can offer some insights.
Okay, and the course briefly touches on potential underlying issues for low desire.
Yes. It acknowledges it's not always about the relationship dynamics. There can be medical causes, past trauma, psychological factors,
Like medications, abuse history, body image, postpartum factors, pain conditions, chronic illness, depression, anxiety, fatigue.
hormonal shifts like
Yep.
menopause, midlife stuff, new parenthood stress, orgasm difficulties, even just fear of talking about sex, like progesterone, resentment, self-esteem, thyroid issues. The list is long.
Wow. So the key takeaway there is
Talk openly but crucially. Seek professional medical advice if low desire is persistent. Don't just assume it's one thing.
get it checked out properly. Okay, final section. Talking about sex effectively.
Acknowledging it can be awkward, but the payoff is huge. More sex, better sex, understanding each other's needs.
And there are clear don'ts, like comparing her to past partners or using blaming language.
Definitely avoid "why don't you"
Yeah.
or "you never" type phrases. Focus on the do's. Encouragement, positivity, gentleness, sensitivity, no judgment, active listening.
Reflecting back what she says.
Yeah. And maybe tackling things gradually, balancing negatives with positives like a 10.1 ratio mentioned.
Yeah.
Speaking from the heart. Being genuine, planning what you want to say.
Yeah. Using clear language for body parts. Nicknames are okay if it helps.
Yeah, whatever makes it comfortable but still clear. And it offers icebreakers too.
Reminds us about I statements again. I feel, I would like.
Crucial. Honesty, mutual sharing, creating a safe space for her to express preferences verbally, guiding your hand, body language.
Asking for feedback after trying something new, constructively.
Yes, focusing on what was good, framing suggestions gently, how to ask for something new, maybe outside the bedroom first, gentle requests, acknowledging hesitation is okay.
Maybe suggesting it at the height of passion, but cautioning against being forceful, especially with oral sex guidance.
Right. It also suggests things like quizzes as a fun way to open up dialogue about likes, dislikes, boundaries.
Or even letters or notes if talking face-to-face is too hard at first.
Yeah, alternative ways to start the conversation.
Okay, whew, that was a lot to cover. So, recapping the big takeaways, understanding the dynamics, the green for go, the need for ongoing seduction.
Setting intentions, all those stop-it-now behaviors to avoid. Building emotional safety is the foundation.
Mental foreplay, understanding arousal differences,
Yes.
and the absolute necessity of good communication and listening.
Daily connection, addressing potential underlying issues, and learning how to talk about sex effectively, openly, constructively.
It really hammers home that improving sexual enjoyment in a committed relationship isn't a one-off fix.
No, it's an ongoing process. Takes effort, patience, empathy, a willingness to keep learning about each other.
So we really hope you take some time to think about these points, see what resonates for your relationship.
Maybe pick one or two small things to focus on. Consistent small changes can make a big difference over time.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah.
Thinking about that whole list of stop it now behaviors, which single one, if you really focused on addressing it just this week,
Yeah.
which one do you think could create the biggest positive shift in your connection with your partner?
That's a powerful question, something to really reflect on. And maybe, just maybe, use as a starting point for an open conversation with her.